his piercing, man.
He's also got a giant hog.
I'm sure.
Rob's Roundtable. How you doing?
Feeling good.
Mike Storey, Nick O, two of the best football minds I know. This three right here, unreal.
That's why I got such a big head. Look, 1 dot, bro.
Yes.
1 dot, barely holding on.
All right, wide receiver, upside floor, getting into it here. Couple things for you per use. Nursing homes. What do you think about nursing homes? Would you trust your parent going to nursing home?
So I have a large history of nursing homes. My mom worked as a phlebotomist for a while, drawing blood, right?
Whoa.
And then she worked her way up into some other stuff with like the billing department and started doing audits. So she would bring my brother and I to nursing homes all the time. And she's busy doing an audit back somewhere behind the desk. And I'm with all the people in the nursing home that think I'm their grandkid. And just trying to put puzzles together, doing whatever. Most of them, no, man, I'm not putting my parents in. Like I'm gonna try and like bring them in to live with me, take care of them, because they took care of me as a kid. Like this place is gross, man. There's so much fucking abuse there. Like
rape too.
Lots of shady shit goes down in nursing homes, Frank. Okay, these places are like prisons.
Like people getting ass raped?
What?
Oh my God, dude.
No, it's not like people getting
Frank,
ass
come
raped.
on, man.
No, it's that people don't want to be here because they feel like
Because they're getting ass raped.
No, he's getting ass raped, Frank.
Oh my God, man. All right, come on.
Would you go to a nursing home in your own?
You mean as an old man?
Yes.
it's just next week.
You don't have the decision.
Well,
your
I mean,
kid.
like you nursing home, you wheel around. You know, I'm out here using my legs like a sucker, and they're riding around,
chilling.
Yeah.
All these activities.
Personally, I don't plan to live that long, but for my relatives, the vast majority of nursing homes are fine. They're regulated. There are plenty of bad apples.
So I want to go mostly because it would be like, so I didn't go to a university, right? That would be my college experience. Is at 78, 82. It's a frat house, bro. We're doing drugs. We're having fucking orgies. Be awesome.
Do you know
my
there's a real problem with STIs floating around?
Because they don't give a
nursing
shit.
homes? Yeah, because they don't care and they don't know how to use
Oh, dude, we're
protection.
snorting coke. We're doing all the fun things. Because at that point, you don't give a fuck,
That's
right?
crazy.
My nursing home would be the fucking happening. It'd be like a fucking, like a destination, dude. Like, you heard about this nursing home, dude?
Going to
Fucking,
the
dude, raves,
hedonism nursing
like,
home.
nursing home raves. All right, I'm sorry. I know this is ceiling floor wide receiver.
Home hedonism.
I'm trying to have some fun, and I know I always throw you some curveballs or some random shit, right?
You do.
You like that?
Yep, it's
Kirk
definitely
Cousins?
an interesting take. You like that?
You like that?
You like that? You like that?
All right. Like that?
Yeah.
We're gonna have to title this episode Kirk Cousins special appearance.
Wide
special
receivers, upside floor. We have Stephon Diggs, AJ Brown, and CeeDee Lamb. What do you got?
A.J. Brown for my ceiling.
Yeah?
It's all about the man, A.J. Brown. 14 yards per target last year. The ability to score 2 touchdowns in any given game. Jalen Hurts is not afraid to throw it into traffic. He's not afraid to use the big body receiver that is A.J. Brown. I initially circled Diggs on this because I think that Diggs can get back, and I've got a soft spot for Diggs. Diggs helped me out a lot when he was on the Vikings, but this is all about A.J. Brown, and I think this Eagles offense, as good as it was last year, is just going to continue getting better. A.J. Brown.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I like how many snaps Brown plays. He gets a lot of opportunity out there because of it. But Diggs in what I feel is going to end up being kind of a prove-it deal on a Buffalo offense that I'm in love with. Take the top off the defense type of player. I'm going ceiling with Diggs. I think he's the shooting for the moon player out of those.
I do not have anything written down here because these three are so close. But just for fun, I am taking CeeDee Lamb.
I was going to say, yeah.
Lamb, and I was all about him last year, and I told Kappa he'd have the most targets in the league, and he was close to it. And this year, I feel like the Cowboys' defense takes a step back. I feel like Dak takes a step forward because he was awful last year. We've seen him kill it. CeeDee Lamb is an alpha. He plays the slot. He's got all the things we want. I saw him have multiple touchdowns taken away last year. And CeeDee Lamb, I see, have 12 touchdowns, 1,500 yards, and 110 catches. That's why he's my upside. What do you have for your floor?
My floor, I'm going with those exact same numbers with Lamb. I think that offense is going to be throwing a lot more this year. I think he's going to be the featured guy that Dak targets, and we're going to see Lamb kill it in all categories.
I don't like the fact that Brandon Cooks is there, and I don't like the fact that they fired their offensive coordinator for
That's
scoring
a problem.
20 points.
Pace. That's
I
a
don't
problem.
like I don't trust that offense. My floor play is also AJ Brown. Like you said, he's an 85% snap player. He gets targets. He gets 10, 12 targets a game. There's just no denying that that offense outside of Jalen Hurts runs through AJ Brown. I love Devonta Smith. Devonta Smith at Alabama is an incredible stud, but AJ Brown is one of the alphas in this league, and he has both floor and upside to me.
And I agree, and I like Smith a lot. He's become a better player than what I expected him to be, just given his size and those tiny little legs. I thought he was going to get broken more often than what he did. But, like cow udders out there. AJ Brown is a close second for a floor. It's Hurts running the ball and the running touchdowns that I'm concerned there's going to be weeks where Brown doesn't show up.
It was not your turn to talk, by the way.
I know.
I'm sorry. As much as I love AJ Brown, I've been on this for a while. I'm probably the only one in the industry, because I'm in the industry, motherfuckers.
Professionals.
Yes. I don't believe in Jalen Hurts. I don't. I think he's overrated. I really do. I know it's crazy.
That's
crazy to
blasphemy,
say. No,
son.
it's not blasphemy, man. 1 year we're gonna fucking just crown him. You don't crown him. Crown his ass.
Players are who we thought they were. And that's why we took the damn field. Now, if you want to crown them, then crown their ass. But they are who we thought they were. And we let them off the hook.
No, I'm not going to crown him. I feel like he's in for regression, and his passing numbers weren't even that great last year.
Super Bowl
Regression?
hangover?
Yes, dude. And that's why I'm taking Stephon Diggs, man. Easiest floor you can have. Guaranteed 1,200 yards, 8 touchdowns, 100 catches. What he does every year. They didn't bring in Hopkins. Why? Because they're fine. They have Diggs and Gabe Davis.
I will say, Rob, you started us off with a good one. When it comes to ADP in half PPR, it's Diggs, Brown, Tony Pollard, CeeDee Lamb at 202, 203, 203, 205. So they couldn't get much closer than that.
And I don't think you could be wrong. I think all of our takes easily are
Literally,
accurate.
originally I didn't have anyone written down because I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah.
So take any of these guys, honestly, and like I'm not trying to be super down on Brown, but I just like the other guys. Next group here, we have Garrett Wilson, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Devontae Adams.
I want to love Garrett Wilson, and I love Garrett Wilson. At Ohio State, he is an absolute stud. He is a baller, a playmaker, a guy downfield, a short area guy, tremendous route runner. But it's Devontae Adams, and it has to be Devontae Adams. He did it with 2 quarterbacks, including Derek freaking Carr. Right, so his yards per target last year were in the high 13s. He gets open. He does everything you want. He scores touchdowns. I don't care who's throwing the ball in Las Vegas. It's Devontae Adams upside for me.
For me, upside is going to be Garrett Wilson. The athlete, the player, like you said, he's electric. I think Rodgers still has something left in the tank. I think Wilson's the clear one there. And I trust that offense a little bit more than when I do the Jimmy G-led offense. Well, it's Jimmy G-led. And I look back at my Niner days, how many times were wide receivers finishing anywhere near the top in fantasy unless they were running the ball? It wasn't all that often.
Genius. Garrett Wilson, not even close to me. I did this whole rant watched the previous episode on Garrett Wilson being the wide receiver number 1. It was my hot take because the man is Antonio Brown. Aaron Rodgers' receivers for his career in the 14-year sample size averaged 90 catches, 1,200 yards, and 11 touchdowns.
I'll take it.
And Garrett Wilson's better than any of those guys. And I thought he was a project coming out. He is not. The guy is fucking polished. He's going to get the work. I don't care how slow the pace is. He's going to have all those hot routes that Aaron Rodgers loves. That's why it's Garrett Wilson. And your whole thing about Devontae Adams, I get you said you don't care who's playing quarterback because you're assuming it's going to be Jimmy G. Jimmy G may not even play to start the year. I know that's not the exercise we're doing, but like, dude,
we're assuming full health, right?
And even if he is full health to start the year, you know he's not finishing the year. And my example is, I know this because I started fucking DeAndre Hopkins so many leagues when he had that piece of shit playing quarterback, whatever, week 14, week 15. Bro, he had 10 targets, 1 catch. And whoever they have there is not, who is it? It's
Stidham.
Jarrett Stidham?
Jarrett Stidham, and it's the other guy from
they
the
let him
Patriots,
walk.
bro. It's the old man from the Patriots.
Yeah, they let him walk.
Hoyer?
Yeah, it's Hoyer.
Oh, is it?
Bro, I don't care how good you are, Devontae Adams. It doesn't matter when your quarterback airmails every throw. And that's why Devontae Adams is not in any part of this list for me, and I love Devontae Adams. He's older, The quarterback play, the offense is trash.
I mean, don't discount Purdue legend Aiden O'Connell is waiting in the wings.
It's not good.
So
who is your floor?
Full disclosure, we didn't say it yet on this pod. We're assuming complete health. We're assuming everybody shows up. There's no contract
No.
disputes.
We're assuming that a guy doesn't get injured mid-season.
Yeah,
Jimmy Garoppolo is currently injured,
but
partially.
He's
right?
projected to be the week 1 starter,
I
though.
guess.
And so to me, Garoppolo's the week 1 starter.
Okay.
That's how I'm taking the
All right.
exercise.
Even with that, I'm
And-
sorry. That's not. What do you got for your floor?
And so for me, Adams is the floor. I disagree with your take on Wilson a little bit. Adams is still the best player on this list. He
I'm
still
not
runs the
debating
best
that,
routes.
yes.
Fantastic hands. He's going to get himself open. And Garoppolo has and has continued year over year when he plays to have one of the quickest releases in the NFL. And you get it out quickly to a guy that's going to be open and a Josh McDaniels offense that he's familiar with from his time in New England when they were together. So it's not a completely new quarterback and a completely new system. I love Adams this year. I love where I'm getting him at. I feel really good and safe.
Nice
about
discount.
that.
What do you got, Story?
It's Adams. It's still. Yeah, I'm all in on Adams this year. Yeah, say what you will, but Brian Hoyer can sling it too. Even if it's not Garoppolo, Brian Hoyer can sling it. And again, Purdue legend, Aiden O'Connell. Look it up. You could make an argument for St. Brown, right?
That would be the one, right?
I'm not sure
Brown.
what Detroit is doing, and Jameson Williams is coming back at some point. And you could make an argument for Garrett Wilson, but I don't trust Aaron Rodgers. I don't trust that offense, and that really sucks because I love Garrett Wilson. I love
It's Garrett Wilson. It's Garrett Wilson by a mile.
No.
And I want to say St. Brown because it is probably the right answer. He is probably
It
the
probably is, yeah.
I think he's got to regress to the means a little bit.
But
He
even
can't get
his
the same
regression
volume
is
that he
still
had.
The problem
floor.
is, like,
I mean,
St. Brown got carted down, what, at the 2 or the 1 yard line, like
Bunch.
5 times
Yeah.
last year.
Yeah.
If you convert 50% of those, now you got a different season.
St. Brown is just not the player these other two guys are.
No, he's
All
not.
right, we got to move on here.
Yep.
4 names here for the next one.
Because 3's not hard enough.
Yeah.
No, Jalen Waddle, Chris Olave, Devontae Smith, and Higgins.
T. Higgins.
T.
So
Higgins.
for me, no, it's Waddle. It's. Do you want a guy that's going to take the top off the defense? Let's go to Waddle. You want a guy going over the middle? Let's go to Waddle. You want a guy that you can do a pitch to and end around? Let's go to Waddle. Tiger Hill's on that team. Both those teams. Good luck covering both those guys this year. I hate their head coach, but he knows what he's doing when it comes to scheming up plays for these guys. Jalen Waddle was a rookie last year. He has every opportunity to take a step forward. He's a top 12 wide receiver this year.
So what I've learned today is Story doesn't like any of the Shanahan disciples. That's what I'm starting to learn. He
Listen,
hates McVay. He
coach
hates
worshiping is
McDaniels.
such an
What about
over-
Saleh? Do you like Robert Saleh?
Hey, we're not arguing about coaches, you motherfuckers.
Let's
What do you
run
have?
down the sidelines
What
and
do you
swing
have for
our
your
arms
outside?
and be happy and let the light clean off our bald heads.
That's Pete Carroll. What do
Yep,
you got?
and Mike McCarthy. You're your other favorite.
Oh,
So for me, upside, I'm going Olave. I think he continues to take a step forward in that offense. His second year in it, I'm a little concerned about Carr's first year in that offense, but he's shown a propensity to sling the ball. He's not afraid to put it into tight spaces, and I think Michael Thomas is just a shell of himself, as much as I hate to say it. I got to see it out of him before I believe it again. I got burned so much everywhere last year that, to me, Olave is the one, and they're going to come out throwing in a weak division.
I have T. Higgins, and I'm not a Higgins guy, but who's most likely to have 14 touchdowns from this group?
Waddle. Close.
Well, Lamar Jackson. No, it's not Waddle. He's not 14 touchdowns from Waddle. No way. He's not a fucking red zone guy.
I personally don't understand why you even put Higgins on a list.
Because Higgins has
I didn't
not had
consider him
over
at all.
100.
I wouldn't be surprised if 95% of the Dolphins' touchdowns came outside of the red zone this year.
I get that. But T. Higgins has yet to have 113 targets or more in a season, I believe. And I'm not saying he's going to have much more than that, but T. Higgins has 8 touchdowns every year, right? T. Higgins, who's most... Dude, Burrow could have 45 touchdowns this year. Where are they going to go?
Jamar Chase.
Chase is going to be fucking double
40.
covered, dude.
40. I love it.
No,
Yes.
double covered is T. Higgins, man. I'm not a Higgins guy. Upside is T. Higgins. He's always nicked up, right? He always leaves his games early. That's why his numbers are skewed per points per game and all these things. It's T. Higgins.
All right.
Who's your floor?
My floor is Waddle. Some of the points the Story made, I'm not convinced he's a top 12 receiver this year, but I think he's going to have a fantastic year. Him and Hill both should feast. They're going to steal from each other at certain times, but Waddle feels really safe.
So that's interesting. Olave is my floor play. Yeah. Because I like the addition of Derek Carr. I think they've got the opportunity to step forward. I've never... Since over the last 3 years, I've had real tough time trusting Michael Thomas, and somebody's got to catch the ball there. Olave showed a lot in his rookie year last year. He can certainly take a step forward. If you're looking for a regular contributor, the Saints are going to have to throw the ball It's Olave for me.
My floor is Devontae Smith. Olave actually was close to having on both of mine, right? Because he is, regardless of the Michael Thomas thing is the question mark. But beyond that, Devontae Smith, as much as I want to say I didn't like Jalen Hurts, Devontae Smith is the best player of the group in my mind. I love Waddle's talent, but Devontae Smith is the prototypical, like, quicker version of A.J. Green. That is always going to be there. He's always going to be open, and that is why he's my floor. I don't see the upside there without an injury, but I see Devontae Smith having 80 catches, 1,100 yards, and 7 touchdowns.
I will say, Rob, this group that you put together, this was the hardest of all the ones.
The 4, yeah, it's a very tough.
Well, it's not just the 4. It's the fact that Higgins there, yeah, but Waddle, Olave, Smith. I love Devontae Smith. I know I didn't mention
Olave is the only one that's the number 1, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
like, so the other guys are all like the number 2s in good
1B in the case of Waddle.
Next group here, DK Metcalf, or I call him DK Met Bull, Calvin Ridley, and Amari Cooper. Story, who's your upside?
DK. Big beast, man. But yeah, DK Metcalf, they've got Jackson Smith and Jigba there. I don't think that he's going to break in until probably later in the season. Tyler Lockett, yes, tremendous, outstanding, consistent wide receiver. When it comes to upside, DK, big body receiver, great route runner, great hands. He's got a chance to be a top 6 wide receiver this year. I think that Geno Smith took a real good step forward last year, and they're sticking with that offense. They let Geno cook last year. It like they didn't let Russ cook years past. They keep that up. DK's got the upside.
So he's seen the old bull. He wants the young calf.
Yeah.
I've had the old bull. Now I want the young calf. And she grabs me by the wings. Shut the fuck up!
Yeah, calf, yeah.
Not me.
This is a house of learned doctors.
He's going Ridley.
I am all over Ridley.
I
have a massive attraction to Ridley this year. I think he's still incredibly talented. He never saw anything bad on film. Played through an ugly foot injury. Put together a good year. Should be the focal point of an offense where T-Law steps up. I think he's going to be the clear number 1 there. I love Ridley's upside.
I'm going DK. It's not even close to me. He hasn't caught a long touchdown in 2 years somehow. The guy is the biggest deep threat in the NFL based on his size and speed. I mean, outside of Tyreek Hill, maybe, right? Biggest deep threat. And has the most red zone targets every single year. And last year was super inefficient. I don't know if that wasn't if it was a connection between him and Geno. You're going to get the red zone targets. You have the deep ball allure every game, right? And the talent, man. And he hasn't broke out yet. I'm telling you, he's been solid, but has not broke out yet. It's DK all day long. Who is your floor?
I think Geno sucks. So that's why I'm not biting on that one. We'll blame PD Sunshine.
You're taking
right?
Cooper for your floor.
I am taking
Cooper
that for my
floor.
floor.
I know him.
I expect Watson to take a step forward. I expect that offense to be able to move the ball. I like that they've got Elijah Moore opposite of Cooper. You're not going to be able to focus the safety over the top and just take Cooper away. He was productive last year, even with Peoples-Jones, who's still there. He feels safe to me. I feel like he's going to get a steady amount of work every week. I know he was inconsistent in the past, and that can be concerning for a floor, but I'm shooting my shot there.
Story, you're taking DK for your floor as well.
It
right?
is DK.
There you go. See?
I should take Cooper.
We didn't know this, by the way.
Cooper, even when Watson came in and was bad, Cooper still performed. And there was a lot of people who were saying, you got to bench Cooper, you got to bench Cooper, you got to bench Cooper. No, he still performed.
Yep.
The problem is, Cooper has disappearing acts, and that can cost you a week. For me, DK, I'm with you, Rob. I think he takes a step forward this year. I think he is one of the next alphas in this league. You're looking at a top 10, maybe top 6 guy in the league here with DK Metcalf. You got a consistent target. He's in every 2 wide receiver set. He's probably the wide receiver.
He's a great blocker too.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to keep him on the field.
He's probably the wide receiver in 2 tight end sets. So for me, with Lockett another year older, it's DK.
Yeah, I agree, and I have DK as well. Everyone talks about how, there's more competition for targets. You know what that means also? He's single covered.
Yeah.
And you cannot single cover DK Metcalf. Thank you very much. Next one, another 4-pack here. Tough one. We have Keenan Allen, Jerry Jeudy, Christian Watson, and Drake London.
I think you know where I'm going with this. It's Drake London. I originally had Christian Watson, and then I remembered Jordan Love.
Yep.
So that's a big crossover right there. It's Drake. It's London. It's everything that I said previously. It's the opportunity. It's the offense taking a step forward. They were terrible, 31st in the league in pass rate over expectations last year. If they get up to even average, they've got a ton of room to grow in that regard. And who's going to catch the ball there? Kyle Pitts? I don't think so.
What do you got?
Good jab there, Story. Good jab. I'm looking at Jerry Jeudy, incredibly talented receiver coming out of college. Had a little trouble staying healthy. Was in a shitbag offense with terrible coaching last year. Now you've got Sean Payton coming in. Russell Wilson's in the best shape of his life, whatever the fuck that's worth at this point in the season. But I think Russ still has it, and I think Payton turns shit around there, and Jeudy leads that team in receiving. He's the upside guy.
I like that much more than Drake London. Drake London sucks. Solid player, but I have Keenan Allen, man. And you think he's more of a floor player, right? After coming back from his second injury last year, I think it was an 8-week sample size, wide receiver 4.
Yeah, I did hear that on the way down here.
That's
Wide receiver
facts.
4 after.
Yeah, I listen to a lot of shit. I know my shit. I have a podcast. Come on, man. I know he's like the old grizzled veteran, but guess what? He is a security blanket. He actually was going downfield a lot last year, which has never been his bag, right? It's not my bag, baby, as Mike Myers said. But Keenan Allen is just the opposite upside because he's not a touchdown guy, but give me 8 touchdowns with Keenan Allen. You know he's having 100 catches. So these other guys, sorry, Drake London's never having 100 catches. They don't throw the ball 100 times. Who is your floor?
Keenan Allen's my floor. I know they brought Quentin Johnston in. I know you got Mike Williams there, assuming they're all healthy all year long. Allen gets underdrafted every single year. He's always a value, always outperforms that spot because he's boring. He's not super exciting, but he's consistent.
Except for when he's 5th in points per game the last 8 weeks.
You get the production out of him. But year over year, you're never excited coming out of the draft with Allen. But I feel really comfortable with it. I like it. I know he's going to be consistent. So Allen's my floor.
It's Keenan Allen for me, too. A lot of weird stuff happened with the Chargers last year. And again, I'm not a huge fan of Brandon Staley, right? Like, I think he's overrated too. But he can scheme up a good offense. And Justin Herbert had he had rib issues last year. And Keenan Allen, like you mentioned, Rob, he was dealing with injuries. They overlapped for a little bit of time. He is the safety blanket for that passing game. I do think he's got a really good chance to be, if he stays healthy, to be that consistent low-end wide receiver 1, high-end wide receiver 2.
Staley's a cocksucker.
And
officially he sucks cock.
You know his wife's from DeKalb?
She sucks cock
Or
too.
Sycamore, somewhere in that? Yeah, okay. Probably.
They both. It's a competition between them who sucks more cocks, right? Like, honey, I sucked 3 cocks. He's like, honey, I sucked 5. And Quentin Johnston was one of them. He's a horse. All right, I have Keenan Allen as well. That's my guy. It's just easy money, 100 catches. You can't go wrong.
Absolutely. And they threw, 50, 60 times a game last year. Now you bring Kellen Moore in, the one that you're afraid of leaving Dallas, right? The reason you don't trust the Dallas offense. And he wants to run a higher-paced offense with Herbert, who we love, right? I mean, I don't think anyone's going to argue against Herbert.
Talent, yeah.
And so that offense is going to eat. I want as many pieces of that offense as I can get this year.
This next group I'm super excited about. We have Terry McLaurin, DeAndre Hopkins, and DJ Moore. I love all these guys. Always have. Storey, who's your upside?
This one was tough. This one was really
very tough, right?
I think McLaurin's underrated. Believe it or not, I think McLaurin is way underrated in this league. He is an absolute stud. And DJ Moore has a huge opportunity to become the number 1 in Chicago if Justin Fields becomes that big passing game guy. We think the offense can certainly take a step forward under Matt Eberflus. Yeah, but it's Hopkins. He's only 29 years old. There is everything around DeAndre Hopkins screams upside with this guy. Tennessee has Chigaquanko and Treylon Burks as the guys. So sorry to anybody who was drafting Treylon Burks.
And he also has asthma, so
yeah. But yeah, so it's Hopkins. It's opportunity. It's talent. It's everything about a number 1 wide receiver. We've seen the guy make ridiculous catches. He can do it. He's already done it in the league. He's on a 2-year deal. DeAndre Hopkins.
Yep. And all three of these guys, fantastic athletes, really good at what they do. DJ Moore is held a soft spot in my heart for years. Love the talent. I'm excited to see what he does on the Bears. McLaurin, again, the dude's a freak. I like Dotson a lot, and that may cut into some of my McLaurin love. But Hopkins, at the end of the day, high points it, runs great routes, great hands, catches everything, and you need to be able to run the ball to set up the pass. Well, it's King Henry, as we discussed in the previous pod, that's setting it up for Hopkins in Tennessee. I love it. They're a consistent playoff team. The other two are going to be struggling this year to produce a lot of wins and score a lot of points. So to me, it's pretty clear that Hopkins is the ceiling play.
Not for me. I love Hopkins. It's DJ Moore. Now, the question is Justin Fields.
Mm-hmm.
I believe in Justin Fields. I don't think he's going to have 4,500 yards. I think he's going to have 4,000 yards. I think DJ Moore is going to be his beyond alpha receiver with awesome talent. I think DJ Moore finally does it. I think he is the 28% kind of guy in terms of who's your floor.
It's a hard one for floor for what you just said with Moore. The downside that's there.
Can't be it.
McLaurin with Sam Howell there concerns me a little bit. But I've seen McLaurin win with shitty quarterbacks consistently every year that he's played. He's a fantastic athlete. I feel that where I'm getting him at, that's my floor play right there. I feel like he's going to get plenty of work when they're playing from behind. And you can't just single him out with Dotson there.
I like John Dotson, but yeah, it's Sarah McLaurin for a floor play, and it has everything to do with Sam Howell's okay, whatever, North Carolina, but we've seen McLaurin do it with all sorts of terrible quarterbacks, and if he can continue that, I wanted to say DJ Moore, but there's just too many unknowns in that Bears offense. Second year for Justin Fields.
It can't be a floor.
Yeah, and Hopkins could just be done. We just don't.
They could just run nonstop.
Yeah.
He plays decoy to keep the safeties off
Right.
the side.
It would
him in as
suck. I don't think he's done personally. That's why he's an outside guy. It's just by default it's McLaurin. I like McLaurin. I like Jahan Dotson, but I like McLaurin a lot too.
Mine is Hopkins, and it would be McLaurin. It's just the quarterback play there scares me more than Tannehill.
Yep.
And as much as I love McLaurin, the player, like I've seen Hopkins do it year in, year out forever. Got to be Hopkins there for me. Next group here, we have Brandon Ayuk, your love buddy.
Yep.
Deontay Johnson and Hollywood Brown.
So the last two, Rob, were really tough. I like those. Those were probably the toughest two that we've gone through. This one's super easy. It's Brandon Ayuk. Like,
Ooh, upside?
yeah, Brandon Ayuk. Because Deebo Samuel's a great big, he's a man of a man, right? But I don't know that you can keep giving him the workload that he gives. Plus, they're already, Christian McCaffrey there. They've got to go downfield, and it's got to be Brandon Ayuk. I think that Brandon Ayuk has a tremendous skill set. He's got great talent. And the San Francisco offense is not one that you should sleep on this year. But Brandon Ayuk, yeah, he is the upside guy amongst the rest of this group.
I think if Deontay Johnson can catch some touchdowns, he's going to push for ceiling maybe, but I don't trust Pickett or that offense this year. I'm going with Ayuk, the guy that I think is, like you said, I think he's going to outscore Deebo in fantasy. It was one of my hot takes, and that's including the rushing because I think most of it gets pulled back to McCaffrey, but Purdy looks like he's going to be ready week one. Looks like he's been targeting Ayuk. Ayuk's put it all together recently. He's going to be the alpha, the number one receiver on that team.
So before I get to my upside, I got to talk about Deebo because he's the man's man. He is. That dude's just spitting tobacco, fishing, playing poker, like cheating on his wife. Like that's Deebo, right? Like the man's man. That guy just
Tuck the chains in.
Yeah, he does it all. He wears shirts from Gadzooks. Remember Gadzooks?
Those big red
Hot
shoes.
Topic, dude.
Oh,
like that's
topic.
him.
That was my
Shout
upside.
out. My upside. You guys are way wrong, man. This is upside. He's the fucking third option on his team. True or false?
False.
Well, Kittle and
Kid-
Deebo,
yeah.
and then McCaffrey. He's a fourth option.
I think he leads that team in targets this year.
You're crazy as shit. My upside is Hollywood Brown. I don't care about how bad they are. Everyone's gone. Colt McCoy is probably as good of a passer as Kyler Murray. Let's be honest. Dude, Kyler Murray's not a good passer, right?
I don't want either one of them at this point, but it's what are defenses going to be scared of besides Brown? What else do
I
we
don't
need to pay
care,
attention
dude.
to?
He's going to have 1 million targets.
I don't want
They're going
anything
to
do
score
with
like
that team.
7 touchdowns on
At
the year.
this point, I want the guy who is a good playmaker and the number one on his team by a landslide.
I'd take Johnson over Brown too.
But he's not the number one.
He's not, but I
And
think
Ayuk's at number 4.
I think he's going to regress.
I'm just
to the
saying,
knees
it's
with
Brown.
touchdowns.
It's not even close, man. Upside. What if they're not as bad as we think? That's what
They
goes
are.
into the
They are.
. Who is your floor?
Ayuk. He's the safest.
Christ!
Yep.
So you have Ayuk too?
Yeah, that's Ayuk.
You guys want to suck off Ayuk?
Circled Ayuk. Circled
Wow.
Ayuk.
I didn't think this was a difficult one.
I didn't either.
Deontay Johnson's the floor.
I don't know.
If
If
he
he
catches
catches
some
some
more
more touchdowns,
Zero
man.
touchdowns
Doesn't need
last
to.
year.
I don't care. He's
Zero
on the floor.
I don't
He's the
think
number
so.
1 or number 2 in the off. Come on,
He's
man.
number 2.
He's 2.
You guys are
Pickens
crazy.
is the one,
You
yeah.
guys are crazy.
Go to sportsbettingintel.com.
Yeah.
We got a lot
Let's
of
get it.
stuff working. We're working on a lot of stuff for college football. So we're trying to become like the one-stop shop for all the resources you need. Everybody does NFL betting. We're going to do college football betting. We're going to try to differentiate, make you some money this year. So go to sportsbettingintel.com. See everything we got. Follow us on social media. You won't be disappointed.
So, next group here, Tyler Lockett, Michael Pittman, andIke Evans.
This one I
Story?
struggled with. A
Yeah,
little bit.
same.
Yeah,
but
I'm
not
good at
because
this.
not because these were such really good options.
What
This
do you
one,
got,
I'm like,
Story?
what do we do here? Like, Lockett's older. Lockett's always been underrated. He's always been the guy. Pittman, yeah, I like the Colts, but who the hell knows what they're going to do with Anthony Richardson? And then Mike Evans can go, 10 for 12 for 200 yards and 3 touchdowns, or he can go 1 for
catch.
8. I think by default it has to be Evans. It just has to be Evans because of what he done in the past. 5+ years of 1,000 yards receiving, multiple touchdown years, and yeah, I just don't know what else they have there. So these are bad offenses all around for the most part. Again, Lockett Seahawks, they definitely took a step forward last year, but it's Evans just by default.
I think Lockett led the Seahawks in receiving last year, and there's a chance he can do it again. Pittman is a huge wild card. He's a talented player, but whether it's Minshew or Richardson, I don't know what I'm going to get out of that offense. I think they run the shit out of the ball. Evans is consistent, right? Mr. 1,000 yards every year. You've seen him do it with bad quarterbacks, but it doesn't feel like the upside there. It doesn't feel exciting. I'm going to go with Pittman. I'm going to go all in on the number 1 receiver in Indy and assume that Richardson takes the step. His running opens up the pass, and it's risky as shit, but that's upside.
Well, the answer is Pittman because, well, no.
Yeah, Story. He answers Pittman.
Well, no, you say it's because Richard. Dude, I don't know how much Richardson's going to play.
It might be Minshew for a minute, and I like Minshew.
Not more than a minute. Like, he's not a minute man. More than a minute. And I said this on the rookie show. I love Richardson, the prospect. He is not ready for the NFL. And they are a possible playoff team. You cannot run that dude out there when he throws 3 pick-sixes in a game. So that's my upside is Minshew playing or the outside chance that Richardson's solid. And Pittman is the number 1 there, the alpha. He's a very good player, man. All of his perception stuff is amazing. That's why he's my number 1, because the other guys, Lockett is great, but you have JSN coming in, right? You
And
have
that
DK,
concerns me with Lockett.
That's why it is Pittman has the upside.
Plus, Geno sucks.
Who's your floor?
Evans, Mr. 1,000 yards every year, man. Like, I know when we get out of him. You're going to have those up and down games, but over the course of the season, he's safe, dude. He's going to produce no matter who's throwing the ball.
If this was a season-long total points league, yeah, I'd say Evans, go for it. But we're playing a week-to-week game, and if you want consistency and you want floor, it's Tyler Lockett, right? It's Tyler Lockett strictly because he gets targets, he gets receptions downfield. Evans can disappear in games, and I do not know what to expect from that Colts offense. So if I got to go consistency and I got to go floor play, it's Tyler Lockett.
I agree with you there. Tyler Lockett is definitely early in the year. He is the safest bet, and we have to see what happens with that offense. But if they do take a step forward, they can all 3 not feast, but he could be the floor. Second to last group here, we have Jahan Dotson. We got Dotson here. Gabe Davis and George Pickens. What do you got for upside?
So this is going to be cliched by this point because this is what we said all the time. But if this offense takes a step forward, and I don't mean to keep being cliched, but if the Steelers can take a step forward and Kenny Pickett can become a better passer, then George Pickens has the chance to become a top 15 wide receiver in this league. I think he overtakes Deontay Johnson as the one in that offense. He has amazing ball skills, amazing body control, the ability to make downfield catches. He's got great, tremendous vision. He can do after the catch stuff too. I know he didn't show it a whole lot in his rookie year, but you go back to his time at Georgia, he's got great after the catch abilities. George Pickens can score 10 receiving touchdowns this year. He's got upside.
Wow.
Yeah, I like Pickens as the number one on his team. Davis and Dotson are both the wide receiver twos there. And I don't love the offense as a whole. You're putting a little faith in Pickett, but where you're taking these guys, I feel like the upside is with Pickens.
You're crazy because you said he gets 10 touchdowns. Kenny Pickett might only throw 18 this year, most likely. So, no way. The answer is Gabe Davis, dude. Because Gabe Davis has 7, 6, and 7 touchdowns in his career. 7 on average. 6.7 touchdowns per average. And he
6.67 touchdowns.
Okay. And he has had 60, 60, and 90 targets. And come on. I get you're talking about you want the number 1 in the offense. Give me the number 2 on a great offense.
Yeah.
Without the attention, they did not sign Hopkins for a reason. Obviously, they trust Gabe Davis.
McKenzie's gone.
Who's the number 1?
Diggs.
Yes. Who's going to get double covered?
Diggs.
Who's going to be running 95% of the routes from the fucking X?
Kincaid.
No, we know who it is, and he had a really inefficient year last year. I'm telling you,
He was being drafted in the 4th round last year.
I know.
Way overdrafted.
I said on the last pod, he caught 52% of his targets last year. You want to know why that was? Josh Allen had a fucked up LCL and could not throw the ball past 20 yards. Josh Allen is a beast down the field, has the biggest arm. Gabe Davis comps to that. He has potential for 12 touchdowns. That's why he's my upside. Who is your floor?
I think Davis is a great option for upside. It's close with him and Pickens because I love that offense so much is why he's my floor. I feel safer taking a piece of the Buffalo offense than I do the Commanders, and Davis is going to be my floor. I know there's going to be some hit or miss weeks potentially, but he's one that I'm going to roll out there, my wide receiver 3 or my flex spot, and be like, I got a fucking shot this week. I'm going to feel good about it.
Yeah, this goes back to the Evans argument. If this was a best ball league or a total points league, I'd be all in on Davis. As it is, I go to Jahan Dotson. He's the number 2 in that passing offense. They don't really have much else there. Yeah, they got Logan Thomas at tight end, but
for what, 4 games a year?
Yeah, poor guy. He's probably out of the league next concussion he gets, unfortunately. But Jahan Dotson has shown he can do it in the past. He's a solid contributor to that team and a solid floor play at wide receiver.
Over under Logan Thomas and Tua Tagovailoa. Do they end up in a nursing home 10 years? Over under.
Partying. Well, they don't even know what they're doing. They're just sitting there, right?
They're going to be there half a vegetable.
My floor is Jahan Dotson. I like the player. I feel like he is the safest bet here. Again, that's some anti-Pickens stuff I have here, and I was the biggest Pickens guy coming out. I had him as my 4th receiver coming out of the draft when everyone had him at 17. But I don't like Kenny Pickett. He's got really small hands. He cannot throw.
Trumpy hands.
I don't like him. And I just feel like Deontay Johnson. I love Freiermuth and Najee Harris. I just don't like that there. I feel like they're a better team than the Commanders. Who's going to throw more? Dotson showed out with touchdowns. That's my floor.
Thanks for plugging that, guys. It's been great to be here.
All day, guys. Right here. Press FedEx. If you're watching still, please share.
Dude,
subscribe.
Just
see how natural that was.
You ain't gonna find another podcast.
We didn't practice that.
These minds right here, man, and then my devious weird mind. I still do know football, believe it or not, and I can host a little bit. We know our shit.
It's good stuff.
This is great
It's
content.
only going to get more complicated, people.
How much have we learned from each other?
A lot. We got a lot of different takes.
You learned how big I am.
What's the point in agreeing all the time?
Here we go. Rob's Roundtable.
And it's been a complete joy.
I do think so. Yeah. I, on the other hand, have not taken a shit in days.
Days?
Days.
That doesn't sound good.
Oh, no, it's good. My body's working at 100% efficiency. Yeah. My body is absorbing every single nutrient, and it's not wasting a single thing.